Sometimes you have bad credit and you're trying to get a personal loan, right? But then they ask too many questions. They're trying to complicate your life. And you're like, listen, I'm just out of here. So what we have done here is that we wanted to explain to you how to get a low doc personal loan. How do you actually like how to get a low doc personal loan for bad credit? You know, a loan that actually gives you the cash real quick without asking too many questions. So here are the steps I really want you to follow if you want to get such a loan. The very first thing, boss, that I want you to really think about is I want you to sit back and say, listen, let me run the numbers. You got to run the numbers because it's not about just getting a low doc personal loan. It's about, is that loan, can you afford that loan and how much you need in the first place? So run the numbers. And when I talk about running the numbers, I'm talking about three things. Okay. Number one, how much you need. Number two, how can you pay it? Are you sure you can pay it back? And number three, are you generating enough revenue now and in the future to actually live comfortably, pay this loan, but also pay other loans? It's really important. So when you think about that trifecta, you are going to approach the whole personal loan process more strategically. Okay. So boss, right now, I want you to sit down. How much you need? Write it down. Is it $10,000? Is it $15,000? It is $20,000. Write it down. Number two, when we talk about, so if you have a loan amount that you were thinking about, you have to think about how much will the monthly payments be. You can use an online loan calculator. You have a lot of sites out there that will give you just have to plug in the number and those websites will tell you based on the loan amount and the repayment window, how much you could expect to pay in monthly payments, right? To pay in monthly installment. So let me give you an example. By the way, before I continue, please welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. We love having this kinds of conversation. So the example I was telling you before. Let's say you want to apply for a $10,000 loan, and you have to pay $500 every month. Can you afford that $500? Is your budget allowing you to have that extra $500 coming out of your budget? And number three, are you making enough money now? And will you make enough money in the future to cover that amount? So those are really important. That's what I mean by running the numbers. Now, another thing you need to do when we talk about you trying to get a low doc personal loan and you have bad credit, make sure you check your credit score. See, the whole thing, you'll be really surprised. People believe here, I have bad credit. But my question is, what is exactly bad credit as it relates to you? What is your exact credit score? You're just walking around telling everybody, I have bad credit. My credit score is messed up. My credit is messed up. But how messed up is it? How messed up is it, boss? Let's have a conversation about that. We got to stop this sort of random phrases. Yeah, my credit score is messed up. My credit score is low. How low is it? Give me a number. Give me a number, boss. Give me a number. Where are you at? Where are you at? 300, 400, 500? What do we mean by messed up? Let's have a clear conversation about that because I'm kind of tired of people using those generic words that are so vague and everybody has no idea what you're talking about. So, boss, I want you to check your credit score. Okay. By the way, I want to remind you of today's topic where I'm talking to you about how to get a low doc personal loan if you have bad credit. And here we are speaking about checking your credit score. I'm just telling you, you want to go to annualcreditreport.com. You want to go to all the other players. You want to go to Credit Karma. You want to go to Nav. You want to go to NerdWallet. You want to go to Wallet Hub. You want to check your credit card statements because a lot of credit card statements right now, they will show your credit score. You need to have a clear idea what your credit score is, okay? But because information is power, once you are able to identify where you are currently at, really, you can start the process to heal, quote unquote heal, to build up, okay? But also simultaneously to apply for the right low doc personal loan that you need and deserve. Very important. And I'm not talking about, a lender applying you for a lender actually approving you for a small ass loan. No, we're talking about something consequential. like 5 digits. Not $500. Not this is not a payday loan. We're speaking about at least 10 grand or 5 grand, 5 grand at least. 4 digits, 5 digits. That's what we're talking about. Not 3 digits. Okay. The third thing I want you to do is to really sit down and consider your options. See, the thing is that when we talk about low doc personal loans, you'll be really surprised what kind of opportunities you have. And don't think that you can also get that you can only get that type of loan from non-bank lenders. You'll be really surprised. You have a lot of banks in the nation. You have a lot of credit unions in the nation that will actually grant you a low doc personal loan. So, because sometimes when we have conversations about low doc personal loans, people believe that you have to go to a payday lender, a payday loan provider. You have to go to an online lender, such as Avant, such as Upstart, Upgrade. You have to go to a Lightstream. No. Right here and there, you can go to your local bank and get a low doc personal loan, even if you have bad credit. Right now, you can go to your local credit union and apply for the same thing. The only difference is that you need to build a relationship. You need to build a relationship you can parlay at the right time into a great lending, a great borrowing situation, a great borrowing scenario, okay? So when we talk about considering your options, I want you to write down right now in your neighborhood, how many banks are there? What are the top banks? And with which do you have a relationship? Where do you have your bank account at? You gotta have a bank account, okay? Don't you tell me that you are unbanked. I don't want to hear this at all. If you have had issues in the past with check systems, I want you to really fix that. We have another show on that, but I want you to fix that because you gotta have a bank. Don't you tell me you are out of the banking system and start talking about banks are here to get me or whatever. Don't you actually fall for those kind of crazy stories? No, you want to fix the situation and have a bank account. So consider your options. So when you consider your options, think about the bank with which you have a larger relationship. In other words, where you keep most of your cash. Okay, maybe you have direct deposit coming into that bank account. Maybe you have a savings account with them. Maybe you have an investment account with them. We call that having an MPR, a multi-product relationship. So you want to go with that. We want to go for that bank first. One thing I want you to do here is, the boss, you got to really choose your loan type. It's very important because once you have run the numbers, right? You have crunched the numbers. You have checked your credit score. So you know that people thought you were at 300, but after checking, you realize, hey, I am at 599, 579 or 569. That makes a big difference. So after doing all this, running the numbers, checking your credit score, considering your options, you now need to choose your loan type. Because when we talk about having a low doc personal loan for people with bad credit, you need to understand there is a constellation of loans. There is a catalog, a diverse catalog of loans. We're not just speaking about one type of personal loan. We have a very diverse typology of loans. Okay. So, by the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. What are we talking about? We are having a conversation about low doc personal loans for people with bad credit. How do you get one today? A massive one at that. Okay. So when we talk about the considering your loan type, you need to understand you have debt consolidation loans with low documentation. You have credit card refinancing loans with low documentation. You have home improvement loans with low documentation. You have medical loans with low documentation. You have emergency loans with low documentation. You have wedding loans with low documentation, all for folks with bad credit. Okay. Once you understand that bad credit is just one criterion that the lender looks at, you understand that you have a chance to qualify, even if your credit score is subprime, okay, or subpar. Because again, if we go back to what I just said, it's all about the relationship, and it's all about knowing that whatever numbers you have, whatever loan amount you want to get, you are in a situation where you can pay that. You can pay the loan, right? If you can prove to the lender that you are in a strong monetary situation, that allows you to repay whatever you borrow, your chances of being approved for that loan will be high. And the lender is not going to ask you to provide too much documentation. They'll probably ask you to give maybe a bank statement or your tax returns, and that's it. The next thing I want you to do here is to shop around for the best personal loan rates. The thing that's really important to understand here is that, if you are looking for a low doc personal loan for people with bad credit, let's first quickly talk about what we mean by low doc. Low doc simply means low documentation. So the lender is not asking you to provide gazillions of paperwork, gazillions of documents. They're probably asking you to provide, let's say, bank statements for the last 3 months. Probably ask you to provide your pay stubs, your pay stubs, and number 3, your recent tax returns. So your 1040s for the last 3 years. That's it. They're not asking you to provide things like your personal financial statements. No, they're not asking that. So low doc, you have to shop around for the best personal loan rates. And the cool thing about this here is that when you shop around for the best personal loan rates, you can actually watch shows like this one, okay, that actually walk you through, that give you a review of the best personal loans, the best low doc personal loans for people with bad credit. You also have the opportunity to actually go on certain websites where you can compare and contrast side by side all the different types of personal loans. So it's really important to actually engage in this sort of analytical adventure, so and in the end, hey, listen, you are going to get the best personal loan for you, whether you have bad credit, whether you're looking for something with low documentation. Okay, so the bottom line is what? The bottom line is that you need to understand, when you shop around for the best personal loan rates, make sure you systematically and reflexively choose personal lenders who will actually grant you a pre-qualification process. In other words, you want to have a soft pull first, so you can actually preserve your FICO score at least at the beginning, because you are going to have a hard pull anyway in the end, but you don't want to have a hard pull at the beginning. Okay, so after doing this research and shopping around for the best personal loan rates, at the right time, you want to pick a lender and apply. Okay, so you've done your research. Make sure you pick the right lender for you, though. Okay, I've said this before. It's always better to apply it at a bank rather, where you already have a relationship. Okay, instead of you trying to, like, let's say you are currently at the Bank of America, don't you try to have a loan approved by Citizens First Bank. I mean, unless you have an extraordinarily high credit score, you're not going to qualify, because all banks want to protect and nurture their relationship. Why would they lend to you if you don't park some of your cash with them? So it's really important to always start where you are already known. And if that doesn't work, then you can try an online lenders. You can try an online lender. You can try an alternative lender. But hey, it is what it is. Let me talk to you about the next thing you want to do here. You want to provide the necessary information. And providing necessary information is really important because, again, as we were talking about having a low doc personal loan, we're not providing a lot of information. We're not providing like anything else besides paychecks, as I said before, your pay stub, your bank statements, and your tax returns. Those 3 things actually show the lender already that you, even though you have bad credit, you are still in good monetary shape, and you are able to actually repay whatever you borrow. Okay, and this is really important to understand, that you always want to confirm the actual amount of paperwork that's needed to get you approved for a specific loan. So talk to the lender, have a conversation with the lender. Make sure that you can corroborate everything they tell you, or everything you thought was the requirements. Corroborate it, confirm it with them before you submit your application. Okay, and it's always better when we talk about submitting the loan application, if you can do it online. Okay, but if you can do it in person, that's even better. Okay, that's really, really better. And one thing I also want to say here is that, so once you actually have accepted, you have provided necessary documentation. If your loan is approved, if your low doc personal loan with the bad credit is approved. Just accept the loan and start making payments. So going back to what I said at the beginning of this, at this very beginning of this show, I talked about being able to repay whatever you borrow, right? Being a situation where, when I said run the numbers, crunch the numbers, I spoke about numbers being linked to your ability to repay, because there is a strong correlation between your FICO score and your ability to be financially responsible, right? So paying your bills on time is a measure of financial responsibility. It allows the lender and yourself, for that matter, to be sure to confirm that you can actually handle any type of loan. Okay, any type of loan, doesn't really matter. Any type of loan, you can actually crush it. And one thing I also want to say is that there are some lenders that will actually give you something called auto pay discount. This can be 0.25% if you automatically pay your loans every month. Let's say you make your loan payment every month from a checking account, then you might get a 0.25 auto pay discount. The only thing is that you have to set it up at the beginning, and you have to make sure that you don't change over time, okay? Because once you change, you lose that discount. So very important to think about that. Now let me close to this conversation by actually explaining to you things you can do if you are looking for a low doc personal loan and you have bad credit, you have poor credit, you have less than 579 in terms of your FICO score. There are things you can do to speed up the loan approval process, because it's really important to understand that if you are looking for a low doc personal loan, you don't want to be in a situation where the underwriting of the loan is actually going on and on and on and on, taking days to close, because you want to close the loan as fast as possible. Okay. And so what you want to do here is that anytime you want to apply for any loan and you have bad credit or you have fair credit and you want to have a low doc personal loan, please, you want to check your credit report before applying. So you know where you stand, you know where your credit stands, and so you know what you could qualify for. And then you want to pay off debts. If there is debt that's currently lingering in your financial closet, you want to pay off that debt, okay? And you want to talk to your existing financial institution. I've said this before. It's always better to start with where you are already known, where they actually have seen your cash inflows and cash outflows. They know how you roll monetarily speaking. They know how you roll your cash inflows, and they know everything. They maybe know how much you're making. If you have set up direct deposit, they know what's coming in and what's going out, because they can see your expense patterns. Okay, so there are your existing financial institution, your existing bank, your existing credit union is in a better shape to actually grant you the personal loan that you need. Okay, and try to get pre-qualified. I spoke about that earlier. And also consider online lenders. I mean, online lenders are not really that bad. People believe they're bad. They're not. They're really great also. But consider them. I'll give you an example. If you take an online lender such as LastStream. LastStream is an online lender. But hey, did you know that they are actually a subsidiary of Truist? And Truist, as we know, is a big regional player in the banking field. So this is why LastStream, for example, is able to grant loans, personal loans, up to $100,000, okay? Because Truist is backing up LastStream, and Truist has the heft and the depth and breadth needed to actually cover this type of loan. They have the balance sheet for this kind of a loan amounts, okay? And you want to pick up the loan funds and in person if possible. You know, if you apply at a branch, you can actually get the funds yourself, as opposed to waiting for the money to be wired to you. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just talking to you about low doc personal loans for people with bad credit. And I was just giving you a few tips and tricks here to actually get the loan you need ASAP. Thank you. So just to kind of recap here. So number one, you want to run the numbers. Number two, you want to check your credit score. Number three, consider your options. Number four, you want to choose your loan type. Number five, you want to shop around for the best personal loan rates. Number six, you want to pick a lender and apply. Number seven, you want to provide necessary documentation. And number eight, accept the loan and start making payment. And I just give you a few pro tips here and there to actually speed up the process in terms of getting you approved as soon as possible. Thank you. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.